Trump revokes Biden's security clearance and daily intelligence briefing. Ireland announces further $20.7 million aid for UNRWA. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. I'm Daniel Bahardin and this is World Today. Foreign Ministry Wisma Putra is monitoring the security situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo following the takeover by the M23 rebels supported by Rwanda. In a statement, Wisma Putra said that as of yesterday, Goma, the largest city in eastern Congo, is still under the control of M23. Wisma Putra is also collaborating with the High Commission of Malaysia in Namibia, which is also accredited to Congo, while the Ministry of Defence is assessing the situation and ensuring the safety of Malaysian citizens in the country. All Malaysian officials serving in Congo under the United Nations peacekeeping mission have been confirmed safe. Malaysians who are planning to travel to Congo are strongly advised to defer their plans until the security situation stabilizes. Wisma Putra said it will continue to monitor developments and provide updates as necessary. According to international media, the takeover by Rwanda-backed M23 rebels has exacerbated an ongoing humanitarian crisis, with reports indicating over 2,000 bodies requiring burial and at least 900 people killed in recent fighting. Meanwhile, the Foreign Ministry has confirmed that no Malaysians were involved in a series of shooting incidents across several areas in Brussels, Belgium over the past 72 hours, which resulted in 1 fatality and 3 injuries. The ministry, also known as Wisma Putra, in its media advisory on Friday said it is closely monitoring the situation and urged Malaysians residing in or travelling to Belgium to stay vigilant while adhering to updates and guidance from the local authorities. Hamas officials announced the names of 3 more Israeli prisoners who will be released on Saturday. The release was part of an exchange agreement with Palestinian prisoners in Israeli custody. According to Hamas media office, Israel is expected to release 183 Palestinians in exchange, including 18 serving life sentences, 54 with long prison terms, and 111 detained in the Gaza Strip during the war. Hamas had previously claimed Israel violated their ceasefire agreement and delayed announcing the names of the 3 Israeli hostages until a deadline of 4 p.m. on Friday. Hamas also claimed that Israel was delaying the entry of hundreds of trucks carrying food and other humanitarian supplies agreed under a ceasefire agreement that took effect on 19th January. Zionists are holding almost all the tents and mobile homes needed to provide shelter to residents returning to their homes destroyed by the bombings. U.S. President Donald Trump said he was revoking former President Joe Biden's security clearances and stopping his daily intelligence briefings. In a post on Truth Social, he mentioned there was no need for his predecessor to receive classified information. Trump referenced a report by Special Counsel Robert Hur that described Biden last year as a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Former presidents traditionally receive some intelligence briefings even after they have left office. In his post on Friday, Trump also said Biden used his time in office to instruct the intelligence community to stop Trump from accessing details on national security. Biden at the time cited Trump's erratic behavior both before and after the 6th January attack on the U.S. Capitol by protesters trying to overturn Trump's election laws. In 2021, shortly after taking office, Biden told CBS he did not believe Trump should have access to intelligence briefings because of his erratic behavior and concern he might share information. US President Donald Trump announced at a press conference on Friday with Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba that progress was being made regarding Nippon Steel's previously blocked $14.9 billion bid to acquire US Steel. Ishiba agreed with Trump that the deal with US Steel would not be an acquisition but an investment.
And it wouldn't actually lead.
President Donald Trump said that Japan's Nippon Steel Corp will no longer seek to fully own United States Steel Corp, but it will invest heavily in the struggling U.S. producer.
Nissan's going to be doing something very exciting about U.S. Steel. They'll be looking at an investment rather than a purchase. We didn't like the idea of U.S. So they've agreed to invest heavily in U.S. Steel as opposed to own it. And that sounds very exciting, and we're going to meet with Nissan next week, the head of Nissan, very great company, and they'll work out the details. I'll help. I'll be there to...
At the outset of the meeting with Ishiba, Trump confirmed he would discuss the block acquisition of U.S. Steel by Nippon Steel with the Prime Minister. Both Trump and his predecessor, Joe Biden, repeatedly opposed the sale of the embattled U.S. steel maker to Nippon Steel. On another note, Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba expressed his willingness to increase investment in the US to $1 trillion, a move that he believes will significantly boost US employment.
本日、私から対米投資額を1兆ドルという未だかつてない規模まで引き上げたいと、そのために共に取り組みたいということをお伝えをいたしました。相互に利益のある形で日本への LNG 輸出増加も含め、両国間でエネルギー安全保障の強化に向けて協力していくことも確認をいたしました。
Part of this commitment includes plans for Japan to amplify its importation of U.S. liquefied natural gas. Ishiba, who is only the second foreign leader to visit the White House since Trump returned to power, he praised on the U.S. president as he tried to build a bond with Trump. In another controversial move, Trump on Friday froze U.S. aid to South Africa, citing a law in the country that he alleges allows land to be seized from white farmers, despite Johannesburg's denials. Land ownership is a contentious issue in South Africa, with most farmlands still owned by white people 3 decades after the end of apartheid and the government under pressure to implement reforms. Trump added that the United States would promote the resettlement of Afrikaner refugees, escaping government-sponsored race-based discrimination. The U.S. president has recently claimed that South Africa was confiscating land via the Expropriation Act signed last month, a charge the South African government has described as misinformation. Trump's ally Elon Musk, who was born in South Africa, has accused South African President Cyril Ramaphosa's government of having openly racist ownership laws. Attempts to license Musk's Starlink satellite internet service in South Africa have reportedly been delayed by a policy that requires major companies to provide 30% equity to historically disadvantaged groups. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also said he would skip upcoming G20 talks in South Africa, accusing the host government of having an anti-American agenda. Ireland on Friday announced a further $20.7 million in support for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, UNRWA. The contribution shows Ireland's commitment to ensuring that there is a significant and meaningful surge in humanitarian aid into Gaza. Irish Foreign Minister Simon Harris reiterated that Ireland warmly welcomed the hostage release and ceasefire agreement in Gaza and has echoed calls for the return of all hostages to their families. He added there is no replacement for the work of UNRWA and it is vital that it is supported. Harris also urged Israel to reconsider its legislation on UNRWA, which enters into force on 30th January. Last October, the Israeli parliament passed 2 laws that call for ending UNRWA's operations in Israel and occupied Palestinian territories. Ireland has provided over $65.4 million in support of the Palestinian people since the beginning of 2023.
Renewed U.S. interest has given a boost to Greenland's independence movement. According to the country's leading pro-independence party, it has strengthened its position in future cessation talks with Denmark.
The Arctic island is due to vote on 11th March in an election where independence has become the main topic. This is following recent statements by US President Donald Trump that Denmark should cede control to the United States due to its strategic importance for American security. Juno Bertelsen, a candidate for the Nalarak party, said that Trump's comments had given the independence movement more momentum. Nalarak, the most prominent political voice for Greenland's independence, is campaigning to invoke an article in a 2009 law that granted Greenland increased autonomy, including the right to negotiate full independence. Once invoked, Greenland will begin negotiations with Denmark, which provides annual grants vital to Greenland's economy. Any agreement will require approval by the Danish parliament and a referendum in Greenland. Greenland was a Danish colony until 1953, when it officially became part of Denmark.
OpenAI said it is taking reports of a data breach seriously, but said it has not yet seen any evidence of its systems being compromised. A hacker claimed to have obtained the login information for 20 million OpenAI accounts, including passwords and email addresses.
Announced it earlier today.
The claims were made on a hacking forum where the threat actor provided what they allege was a sample of the data obtained and offered to sell the full batch. The credibility of the claims has not been verified, but in a statement OpenAI said it was looking into the reports. The AI firm is the maker of ChatGPT, the AI chatbot which has exploded in popularity since its original launch in late 2022. Cybersecurity expert Jamie Akhtar said consumers should exercise additional caution by updating passwords and login credentials and warned that cybercriminals could look to exploit the incident. Compromised accounts could be used to access and abuse sensitive customer data or to exploit OpenAI's APIs and distribute malware and other cyber nasties. There's also the possibility of cybercriminals using stolen user credentials to produce targeted phishing campaigns, steal identities, or commit financial fraud.
Gang violence in Haiti is overwhelming communities, especially children's rights to safety, health and education. The United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF warned after a visit in capital Port-au-Prince by its spokesperson James Elder.
Describing the increase between 2023 to 2024 as staggering, elders said that armed groups have inflicted unimaginable horrors on children in the Caribbean country. Powerful gangs, armed with weapons largely trafficked from the United States, have united in Haiti's capital Port-au-Prince under a common alliance. Some 45% of healthcare facilities are not functional in the metropolitan of Port-au-Prince area due to the problem of access, lack of staff or medicines. Its future has been in limbo since the US froze $13 million in funding on Tuesday before passing a waiver to unlock a separate batch of funds. More than 1 million people, over half of them children, are displaced within Haiti due to ongoing violence. Extreme poverty has also pushed children into gangs, with up to half of all armed groups made up of minors.
In sports, Maguire's late header denies Mr. Roy's fairy tale return to Old Trafford. Stay tuned. Kicking off our sports segment this afternoon, Harry Maguire headed a last-gasp winner as FA Cup holders Manchester United came from behind to beat Leicester 2-1 on Friday, denying Ruud van Nistelrooy a fairy tale return to Old Trafford.
Bobby de Cordova-Reid put the Premier League strugglers ahead late in the first half of the fourth round tie against a pallid United who have lost their fear factor at home. But the introduction of Alejandro Garnacho at half-time gave United a different dimension and fellow substitute Joshua Zirkzee level midway through the second period. Ruben Amorim's team pushed for a winner, and it finally came when former Leicester defender Maguire headed in a Bruno Fernandes free kick deep into stoppage time. The Portuguese manager, who is struggling to implement his ideas at Old Trafford 3 months into his reign, said it was a poor performance from his side. United, 13th in the Premier League, ended the January transfer window lighter than when they started in terms of attacking options after allowing Marcus Rashford and Anthony to leave on loan.
Over in Saudi Arabia, Ronaldo got his birthday goal as Al Nassr beat Al Fayha 3-0, but it was January signing John Duran who stole the show. Starting his first Saudi Pro League game since completing his €65 million move from Aston Villa, Duran scored a brace, propelling Al Nassr on the course to victory before Ronaldo wrapped up the win.
Duran needed just 22 minutes to make an impact in Riyadh, driving past ex-Manchester United centre-back Chris Smalling before finishing coolly to break the deadlock. The 21-year-old then bagged his second of the night in the second half, latching onto a cross from Sadio Mane before lofting the ball over the on-rushing goalkeeper to give the Saudi Giants breathing space. Ronaldo then added his name to the score sheet 2 minutes later, sweeping home from inside the box to score his first goal since celebrating his 40th birthday on Wednesday. His goal tally for the season now sits at 16 in the Saudi Pro League, putting him 2 clear of former Real Madrid teammate Karim Benzema in the race for the Golden Boot. Al Ittihad topped the lot on 49 points, 3 ahead of defending champions Al Hilal, who have a game in hand and face Damak away from home on Saturday.
Coach Luis Enrique has signed a 2-year extension to his deal with Paris Saint-Germain until 2027. His contract extension had been something of an open secret for months and comes just ahead of PSG's Champions League knockout phase playoff tie against French rivals Brest, the first leg of which takes place next Tuesday.
The Spaniard led PSG to a domestic league and cup double last season, while also taking them to the Champions League semi-finals. They are currently well clear at the top of Ligue 1 and are through the quarter-finals of this season's French Cup. A handful of players, including Moroccan star Achraf Hakimi, have also extended their contracts. The former Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund and Inter Milan right-back is tied to the French champions until 2029. Portuguese international duo Vitina and Mendes have also signed new deals until 2029, while 18-year-old fullback Yoram Zag has penned a new contract to stay at the Parc des Princes until 2028.
In tennis, Spanish tennis superstar Carlos Alcaraz hurtled into the Rotterdam Open semi-finals on Friday with a comfortable 6-2, 6-1 win over compatriot Pedro Martinez. The world number 3, bidding to become the first Spaniard to triumph in Rotterdam, will next face Hubert Hurkacz of Poland for a spot in final. In MotoGP, Alex Marquez emerged the fastest rider at the MotoGP pre-season testing in Malaysia as the Spaniard topped the timesheets with 1 minute 56.493 seconds, leading a slew of riders who dipped under the 1 minute 50 seconds mark. Friday marked the end of the pre-season test at the Sepang track, and Marquez proved most consistent, finishing fastest on the final day to add to his consecutive third fastest timings.
The 28-year-old Marquez displayed his riding prowess on his Ducati machine, coming in just 0.156 seconds shy of Francesco Bagnaya's official lap record set at the Sepang track last year. Bagnaia came in second after clocking 1 minute 56.500 seconds, while France Fabio Quartararo completed a commendable pre-season outing in third with a time of 1 minute 56.724 seconds. Italy's Franco Morbidelli, who was Thursday's pace setter, completed the quartet of riders who dipped under the 1 minute 57 seconds mark with a time of 1 minute 56.948 seconds. Thursday and Friday proved much calmer sessions compared to the opening pre-season test day on Wednesday, which saw reigning MotoGP world champion Jorge Martin hospitalized and needing surgery after a bad crash.
In golf, Adrian Barong of Poland remains 2 shots ahead of Colombia's Sebastian Munoz to stay atop the leaderboard after both carded rounds of 6 under 66 on the second day of Live Golf Riyadh on Friday in Saudi Arabia. Munoz kept pace with Barong, who fired a 62 in the first round and sits at 16 under par heading into the final day.
Lucas Herbert of Australia shot an 8 under 64 to climb into third place alone at 12 under. Barong, 31, has won 4 times on the DP World Tour but is in position for his first Live title after joining the circuit ahead of the 2024 season. Munoz, 32, hasn't earned a professional win since the 2019 Sanderson Farms Championship on the PGA Tour. There wasn't much separating their Friday rounds, with Munoz was bogey-free and 6 birdies, while Barong converted 7 birdies and limited himself to 1 bogey. Legion 13 continues to dominate the team standings. Tyrrell Hatton of England and Caleb Surratt are tied for 4th at 11 under after both shooting 67, while captain John Rahm of Spain and debutant Tom McKibben of Northern Ireland are in a tie for 6th at 10 under with Matthew Wolff. That brought Legion 13's team score to 42 under through 2 days. Second place Torque GC is a distant 11 shots behind.
Kick back and enjoy our selection of colourful stories this week in Offbeat segment.
A silvered langur baby has made its public debut at New York City's Bronx Zoo. The baby monkey, identifiable by its bright orange-colored coat, was born in November 2024 and can now be seen by guests in the zoo's Jungle World exhibit. The Bronx Zoo says it has one of the largest breeding groups of silvered langurs in North America. Silvered langurs are also known as the silvery lutung, pronounced lotong, or silvered leaf monkey. They are found in a variety of forest habitats in Brunei, Indonesia and Malaysia. The infants are born with orange coats and white faces. Over the course of 3 to 5 months, the infant's coat gradually changes to the silvery grey colour of the adults and its face turns black. The International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) includes silver langurs on the list of vulnerable species, pointing to a decreasing population, primarily due to habitat loss. Auction house Christie's has revealed its first AI-dedicated sale, pushing the boundaries of art. Augmented intelligence consists of about 30 works of art created with artificial intelligence, ranging from the earliest creations in the 1960s up to the present day. The auction includes paintings, sculpture, drawings, video, digital-only pieces, and interactive work. Christie's Director of Digital Art Sales, Nicole Sales-Gillis, said the category is surging in demand. Featured artists include pioneers like Rafik Anadol, Pindar van Armen, Holly Herndon, and Matt Dryhus, and Alexander Rabin, OpenAI's first artist in residence, among others. Christie's said the sale also showcases a selection of artists from NVIDIA's AI art gallery. The online sale kicks off February 20th and runs through March 5th. Concurrent with bidding, a 12-foot robot created by Rabin will be physically present in Christie's NYC gallery, painting in real time. With each new bid online, the robot will paint a new section of the canvas. The resulting artwork will be revealed online and in the Christie's gallery as bidding continues. The starting bid is $100. Chinese animated film Ninja 2 made global history on Friday, becoming the highest-grossing movie in a single market, surpassing previous record holder Star Wars The Force Awakens, released in 2015. According to Chinese ticketing platform Beacon, Ninja 2, a sequel of the 2019 hit featuring a mythical boy with magical powers and exceptional martial arts skills, grossed about $932 million as of 9 p.m. local time on Friday. The impressive record-breaking streak of Ninja 2 came just a day after it topped China's box office chart, overtaking the 2021 war epic The Battle at Lake Changjin. Ninja 2 premiered in Chinese cinemas on 29th January alongside other films such as Detective Chinatown 1900 and Creation of the Gods 2 Demon Force. Together, these films helped China's Spring Festival box office revenue reach a historic milestone of $1.4 billion. The animated feature combines breathtaking animation with a rich narrative rooted in traditional folklore, taking audiences on an emotional journey that blends action, humor, and heart.
And that wraps up our bulletin this afternoon. In our top story today, Trump revokes his predecessor Joe Biden's security clearance and daily intelligence briefing. Thank you for watching. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Assalamualaikum. Salam Malaysia Madani.